Hi, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast powered by CKREU. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Sabrina Donahue-Moore of Little Caesars. She talks about hiring opportunities and their catering options. We are also joined by Antoine Smith-Rouse of Gateway Community and Technical College. He highlights their continuing education options, including an upcoming Canva for Professionals course. Thank you once again to our podcast sponsors, CKREU, Google and Amazon advertising experts. Now let's go hear from that sponsor, meet our members of the week, and I'll be back with this week's guests.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. CKREU gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, CKREU generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can CKREU do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Be Creative Catering is a family-owned catering company offering customized food and bar menus, attentive hospitality, and creative event experiences with a personal touch. Trinity In-Home Care is a non-medical home care company that assists older adults with daily living activities such as bathing, dressing, light housekeeping, meal preparation, and transportation. Big Blue Moving combines muscle with heart, helping families and businesses across the Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati region move forward with confidence, care, and peace of mind. Prodigal Counseling Services believes therapy should feel human first. No pressure to be perfect, have the right words, or walk in with everything figured out. Tattoo Removal Inc. is a nonprofit that provides free laser tattoo removal of face, neck, and hand tattoos for individuals re-entering the community after incarceration. Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, I am joined by Antoine Smith-Rouse of Gateway Community and Technical College. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've had you on. Gateway is always doing a ton of things in this workforce development space. You're really involved in that workforce solutions, workforce development space. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in Gateway this summer.
Yeah, all the things.
Everything.
But in podcasts, we're done. No, we are doing, we do a lot in response to business and industry, but we also, in addition to being responsive to business and industry, we also want to be proactive as well. So doing a lot in the leadership space, and kind of, we hear all the time, soft skills, right? Can you teach my people how to people, So we have some leadership trainings coming up. One that's not necessarily a leadership training, but one that we've heard a lot of feedback for is actually a Canva for the professional. So breaks my little millennial heart because I'm PowerPoint, all the while. Like, can we not just do that in PowerPoint? I said publisher the other day and thought that someone was gonna bite my head off. So Canva's here to stay. Really teaching individuals how to use Canva. That's coming up at the end of July. And really talking about those free features, those pro features, but really empowering the individual to be able to do it themselves. I think we're actually going to offer, so contact us if you are a nonprofit, because we typically don't offer a nonprofit rate, but really have seen the need for really that small business and nonprofit who doesn't have the marketing team, right? To really be empowered to do things themselves. So that's one that we're super excited about that's coming up here in July.
Yes, I know that Canva is one of those things that everyone is using nowadays. So that's a really great training. You mentioned the leadership solutions. You guys have some programs involving that this summer as well. Touch on those.
Yes. So we have our introductory leadership, which previously was called 10-week leadership series. So if you've been through the 10-week leadership series, or if you've sent people to the 10-week leadership series, that's now called introductory leadership, because now we have other levels of leadership as well. So we also have our advanced leadership training that's 12 weeks long, and it is starting in September. We also have a bigger than advanced. We're throwing around the term executive leadership, but it's really kind of for that advanced leader before they get into executive leader that we are about to launch here soon as well. But with the advanced leadership that we have starting in September, really going full circle. So talking about how do I appreciate my team, right? So maybe I've been an introductory leadership where I've been unofficially over people or a team lead, but now I actually have direct reports. How do I make sure they feel appreciated? How do I deal with conflict, right? Productive conflict, and really transitioning. What we hear the most, right, is how do I go from being a coworker or a friend to being that supervisor, right? To really going from coworker, from friend to manager, talking about growth and high expectations and really all the things in a 12-week series. It runs 3 hours each day for 12 weeks, so just 1 day a week for 12 weeks. And really the thing that I love and that we get the biggest feedback about all of our leadership series, so we can do anything customized for a company. If you have 10 people that you need to send through leadership, we can do a customized training just for you. But with our open enrollment leaderships, what we hear is that cross-sector networking, right? Of being able to, when you have someone in manufacturing in the same session as someone who works at the public library, and when they bring up something, they're like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought of that, but that definitely applies to me. So really making that connection and building your network of other leaders that are in kind of that same stage of their leadership as you has been really impactful for many individuals.
Yeah, and you mentioned those soft skills, and that is something that people are really coming to you for. When you think about the soft skills that a lot of, like, maybe say mid-tier leaders need, what do you think are the most important ones right now?
Ooh, good question.
That's a curveball.
For that mid-tier, appreciation is a big one. We hear, well, and data shows that by and large, people leave people don't leave places.
Yeah.
So when someone feels, there's actually a statistic, I'm not going to quote it because I don't want to get it wrong. I can send it to you later if you want, but there's a high percentage of individuals who are leaving due to lack of appreciation. Although when you ask managers why people are leaving, they will say, oh, more money, duh. And it's actually a really small number of people that are actually leaving for more money. So when we can teach people how to appreciate others, and then delegation is a really big one, but really treating people like people, even 20 years ago, you're here to do a job. I'm not here to be your friend. So even when we talk about moving from friend to manager, that's even a misconception a little bit because people want to have some form of camaraderie with their leader as well. So how do I maintain that camaraderie while having high expectations are really some of those big ones. And meetings, when people have never led a meeting before and they're going from participating in a meeting to leading a meeting, that is a big one that we see that people struggle with as well.
Yeah, those are all important skills. I'm thinking about how those apply to me in my real life and how I have worked.
I can sign you up today. No,
yes. It's September. You said 3 hours.
Yes.
But I think that's really great that you guys are doing all this. And you had mentioned that someone had approached you about a Canva training, and then you expanded that. So it's really great to know that you guys are really tapped into the workforce. And I really wanted to ask about all of the different opportunities for continuing education at Gateway, because you guys are a standard college, like students can enroll, but you guys do so much more than that. Can you touch on a couple of the different options for people that are looking to learn more?
Yeah, so we have, I'm going to touch on our traditional academic side for a moment because, we have our traditional classes. And when I'm saying traditional classes, I don't want that to get confused with only for the traditional student, right? So whether you are in high school, fresh out of high school, 30 years removed from high school, we have classes for you and when I'm saying traditional academic, meaning those 4 credits, I'm going after a certificate, I'm going after an associate degree, I want to transfer to a 4-year. And even with our traditional classes, still more flexible than ever. So yes, we start in August is what most people think of school starting. We definitely start in August. We also have bi terms that start in October. We also have winter terms that start in December, right? We have summer terms that are going on now. So we have our traditional academic side. On the workforce side, we will do whatever you want, whether that is on campus. So all of the classes that I've talked about today are on our campus. They're actually all at the Boone campus off of Mount Zion. But if you need a class and you want us to come to you, we will come and do it to you. We can do our classes at our urban campus. We can really do them all over. As I said, we can do them customized specifically. So let's say, I think Excel's a great one that comes to mind. We have our traditional open enrollment Microsoft and Excel classes, but then we also have people that look at what we offer across Excel level 1, Excel level 2, and Excel level 3, and they say, I want 2 or 3 things from each of those because we use Excel in a more unique way. And can you do that just for my people? And the answer is absolutely yes. So with Canva, like you said, that was a company who came to us and they said, we have 3 or 4 individuals who really want to expand their Canva knowledge, but we can't justify, right, the dollar amount for 3 or 4 individuals because we can't send 15 people through. So we're like, let's try to run it as an open enrollment. Let's see if we can get other people who are interested. So whether you are interested in a class that we've talked about here today, or you're like, oh my gosh, my people really need blank, right? Another one, which we oddly don't have scheduled. We actually just ran 2 of them, which is why, but AI in the workplace is a big one of, how do I use AI, whether that's prompt engineering, whether that's just understanding what AI is, because a lot of times when people hear AI, they think large language model. And while large language model is a part of AI, it is not the definition of AI, right? So we've done a lot in the AI space. And I think, eventually we will get to a point where everything is impacted by AI, right? We will think, we can't think of my sister's phone is broken right now. And she's like, I need my phone for everything. Like, she's like, I can't even get it to check my bank because I have to 2-factor authentication, right? Like, that's the way that we will get with AI, is that it will be integrated into everything that we do.
Yeah. And you mentioned you guys have something coming up with AI, ethical grant writing with AI for some of your nonprofits. Tell me a little bit about that. I was saying to you, that's the second time that conversation has popped up in my realm recently. And I think it's really interesting. So tell us a little bit about it.
So still in development. So you can contact us to be put on our waiting list, but really taking grant writing, right? So we will talk basic grant writing, but then really moving over into how do I ethically use AI to write this grant. So not that I'm saying, write this whole thing for me, set it, who was that? Ron Popeil, do you remember Set It and Forget It? With that. So not, how do I just get it to do it for me, but how do I get it to maybe articulate what I'm trying to say or delineate my data to really make sure I'm hitting the key metrics so that it's still your content, your ideas, and that you're going to deliver on everything that you're writing in that grant, but how do you make it most palatable to make sure that you are increasing your chances of receiving that award? So that is one that we are super looking forward to. We also have some small business acumen series that are in development that we're looking forward to. We actually think that we're going to run those at our urban campus, which is in Covington, just because we see so many small business, really that's kind of the small business hub here in our urban core. So we're super looking forward to that. We also have one that's completely unrelated to everything that we've talked about today, but we have appliance repair coming up. That's in development right now, but so excited about that one because it really just shows that we meet the needs of local business and industry. So we actually had multiple, it was kind of like how you're like, I've heard AI multiple times this week. Literally like one week, I had like 3 different unrelated businesses reach out about appliance repair. And I'm like, I think there's something here. And then like the more that we really started researching and finding, people like not even in this area, but like in all of Kentucky are sending their folks to Cleveland for appliance repair technician, paying for them to stay in hotels, like all of those things. So it's like, why can't we do it here? The answer is we can, and we are. So we're super excited about appliance repair and just really responding to our business need, both being proactive and reactive simultaneously.
Yeah, you mentioned that at the top of the podcast, and I've always thought that is so unique and so interesting about Gateway. Why are you guys doing that? Like, what's the why behind making sure that happens when you're listening to the business community? Another curveball for you.
Well, regardless, right?
Yeah.
Regardless what we're talking about, whether it's workforce solutions or it's on our traditional academic side, at the end of the day, we are educating individuals to be employed.
Yeah.
Business and industry is who employs individuals.
Right.
So if we don't listen to their needs, us sending out someone with a degree that they can't then get gainful employment, right? That's not our mission. That's not our values. That's not the reason we are here. We are here to help our region, right, grow economically. And that is helping business and industry, but helping individuals, which in turn helps business and industry. So if we are sending out students who don't understand how to, appliance repair is a perfect example. Refrigerators and stoves look very different today than what they looked 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So literally in our appliance repair, like there's a section about like resetting the Wi-Fi of your refrigerator. My refrigerator doesn't have Wi-Fi. Apparently refrigerators have Wi-Fi now.
My fridge does not have Wi-Fi.
But you know, it's staying up to date on those trends because our goal is to educate individuals to be employed. And in order to do that, we have to listen to what business and industry needs and wants. And we know, right, because not only do we have the onus of educating the next generation, we have the onus of educating the current generation so that they can be upskilled in what they're doing and stay relevant in the career field that they are in.
Yeah. Well, that is such a fascinating area that you all play in, especially when you think about like the region, the businesses, our educational landscape. I know you work really closely with our other higher education institutions here in Northern Kentucky. Antoine, it has been so fun to talk with you about all of the options and all of the things that you guys are doing this summer. Any final thoughts for our viewers and listeners? Anything that you left out? Anything that you think they really need to know?
We say yes. So I think if you were like, who can blank? I feel like the answer is Gateway. Like I know that seems, but like we do, or two, this is the thing. If the answer is not us, we are a part of the puzzle that can get you the answer to yes. We work so closely with the chamber, with BNKY, with NKY Works, with all the different, regional growth partners out there that even if with NKU, with Thomas-More, with all of our partners, that even if we are not the answer, we are not going to tell you no. We are going to find the answer for you. But many of the times we are able to, it's either something we are currently doing or we can say, yeah, we can do that. And literally from the time we start something to the time we end something, I mean, Canva, this was brought to us when we sent the email out. So what was that? 6 weeks ago? Like, when we, this appliance repair, from the time it was brought to us to the time we were fully launching it will be less than 6 months. Although that may sound like a long time in academic land, that is really, really fast, right? So we have the ability to be responsive very, very fast for our business and industry partners. So reach out to us. If you want to come tour one of our campuses, if you've never been, we would love to tour you around. But reach out. And again, most of the time our answer is yes, or we will find the answer out for you.
Yes. Well, I absolutely love that. And I have loved having you on the podcast. Antoine, thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, I am joined by Sabrina Donahue-Moore of VDM Management. We're here. We're going to talk about Little Caesars, one of my favorite things in the world. Welcome to the podcast.
I'm so happy to be here. It's a great day to be here.
Yes, nice and hot, but you get to be up here in the podcast studio in some air conditioning. But jump right in. Tell us a little bit about your organization and what you do. I understand you've been with the company for a number of years.
I have. So VDM Management has some of the local Little Caesars here. Our franchisee, our owner, she started with Little Caesars when she was 15 years old, which is amazing to me. So she's a great inspiration for our team members to know what hard work and determination, what it actually will do if you put your mind to it and make good decisions. But she started there in Detroit in the Michigan area and grew up in the ranks. She became the first female trainer for Little Caesars Corporate, traveled all across the country, and then decided she wanted to be a franchisee. And she fell in love with the tri-state area of West Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio. Mm-hmm. So then that's been 40 years ago. And we're just so happy to be a part of a legacy that she has built. And she understands what it's like being a team member. She understands the importance of community, and she understands growth. and it's just a great thing to be a part of. So for me personally, jumping on board 14 years ago, there's so many opportunities. We offer a product that is a value for people, and there seems to be a continuous need for value-driven products for customers, and offering that to them and having great impact on our team members. A lot of them are younger and they're just establishing who they're going to be, and we get to help them in their first steps of employment. And then we have team members that are here for a lifetime with us, that are along for the ride in the journey and have good tenure of staying with us. So being a part of something like that, seeing the progressiveness of things changing and growing and trying to be better and to have an impact on our communities the way that we're able to do that, it's kept me here. And it continues to keep me here, knowing that we're able to have an impact.
Yeah, I love that. And you've been with the company for 14 years. So you've seen, I'm sure, a lot of people come and go. You mentioned some people staying. When you think about your role and what you do, what's really kept you here?
I think the best word I can think of is impact. I mean, I impact on our team members as they're growing and teaching them some life skills in their communities, being able to know, because I'm a part of something, that because of Little Caesars, something is better. Yeah. There's change. There is a difference that was made because you were there. And I think that's what all of us really want to feel, is that our life is having an impact in some way.
Yeah. I think that's definitely something that will keep you in a workplace for a lot longer. Sometimes the work might stink and you might hate it, but if you feel like you're making a difference, I think that's a really big thing. I'm going to jump ahead. I know we had this question kind of listed down later, but you mentioned community impact a couple of times. Tell us a little bit about the impact that Little Caesars is having on the local community.
It is such a passion to know that we have, it's part of our everyday conversation. Every day we have conversations of how can we impact our team members and how can we impact our community in a positive way. So I love that is part of our conversations and what is always our focus. We've been able to do a lot of great things. We have several of our locations that donate to the local food banks. We have products that we don't sell that are out of the hot and ready concept, and that we collect all that food. We keep it in the refrigerator and freeze it when we donate it to those that are food insecure in our communities. And last year we had over 125,000 pounds of food that we donated just out of our restaurants to help those in need. And I think that makes our team members feel part of something that's bigger than them, to know they're helping people out. We've done some great incentives with nonprofits and donations that are going out, countless. I don't know how many of that number would be, but countless nonprofits and churches and charities that are doing such great work that are making a difference in our community that we don't even realize it's happening. There's so many great causes that are out there. In some of our other locations too, we've been able to have a campaign called the Pizza Paws campaign, where we're supplying police officers, their canines, with supplies. And last year that went up to 275 handlers for this year. So we want to hopefully bring it to this area in a few years and be able to branch that out. But I think that is a legacy builder for our team to be a part of, and for us to be a part of it too. It gives me great joy, like personally, to know that we are doing that and that our team members get to be a part of it.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. That's an incredible number on both accounts, the donations and the Pizza Paws, which is such a fun phrase. I'm going to take us back a little bit. So a lot of people know Little Caesars or grew up with Little Caesars, you know, the hot and ready pizzas, grab and go. Tell us a little bit about what's changed for maybe people not like me that don't eat Little Caesars like every month.
Well, you should come back multiple times a month. You know, the thing about Little Caesars that you have to evolve. You have to find out what is current, what's happening right now. And they had the pizza days, which worked out very well during that time. And then they switched to the hot and ready concept. That was a game changer. The people can just walk in and walk right back out, and not have to wait for their pizza. I think the underlying over all of it has been value. Be able to give a great value product with ingredients that we're proud of. We don't use frozen dough. We use vine ripe tomatoes for our sauce. sauce, and we don't freeze our cheese. So those things you would think, hey, I'm going for a Little Caesars pizza, but you're actually getting something that the quality ingredients are in it. And we're proud of that. But you have to evolve. What's happening in the area? Right before COVID, we debuted the Pizza Portal.
Yeah, love the Pizza Portal.
It is a fantastic idea. It's a hot box that we put your pizza in. We let you know when it's ready. You scan a QR code or put in your code. It just opens up the little door and you get your pizza, and you don't even have to interact with our front counter teams. So you have that choice. And then we started a partnership with DoorDash that we were able to facilitate delivery for customers. So I think that evolution continues to happen. I know that we're testing out drones and a whole bunch of other things to keep relevant and make sure that we're listening what's happening in the country and our area to make Little Caesars not only just about value, but about convenience. How can we make it easy on you? And I think that both of those things make Little Caesars so different than the rest of the competition.
Yeah, that's definitely the drones. I live within a mile of a Little Caesars, so maybe I could be a drone candidate. I think that would be so fun. And you've talked a little bit about that idea of like what's new, how you guys are staying relevant. You guys have a number of locations here in Northern Kentucky. So tell us a little bit about like your footprint here in Northern Kentucky.
So right here in this area, we have 7 locations. We have Covington, Florence, Erlanger, Alexandria, but we have 7 total. They're right here in this area. And we've been able to, again, donate to the area food banks in several of those locations and be involved in the communities and even being a part of the chamber. I mean, that's an important part of it as well.
Yeah. And one of the things that you guys do, maybe outside of what your standard customer base is you guys do catering options as well, outside of, you know, like a drive-through or a pickup or a delivery. Tell us a little bit about the catering options.
I'm really excited when I think about catering because most people think for dinner, I'm just going to pick up a pizza or it's for lunch. But if you're a business and you're trying to feed a lot of people, it's getting harder financially to afford catering options to reward your team or to celebrate or, even if it's just for, an office get together. So Little Caesars is a great way to do that. I mean, if you had 2 slices per person and you had 20 people, that's $35.
Yeah.
That's a very attainable way to say, hey, team, thank you. We appreciate what you're doing. Here's lunch. And it doesn't break the bank. But we've been able to make it from it being just a 20 people to 1,000 people. If they want just round pizzas for a buffet or if it's a grab and go, we can cater and customize what customers want and to make sure that we get the word out that you can come to Little Caesars for those bigger events too, and that we will cater to whatever you want.
Yeah, and for catering, how should people get in contact with you? I know that's a little different than the standard, correct?
Yeah, you can still contact the store for the catering, and we have a great catering flyer that we'll be sending out that people have a phone number that they can call out that is directly to one of our supervisors here that we want to make sure you're taken care of, and with the Golden Glove service to make sure that any questions or any customization that we're able to do that as well.
Yeah, okay, well, that's great. We will put that up on screen for our viewers so they can check that out. And I know one of the other things that you wanted to talk about, 7 locations. I'm sure you guys are always hiring. For maybe parents that are listening that have kids that want to get hired or people looking for a new career option. Tell us a little bit about your hiring applications.
For hiring, it's I think that everyone at some point after COVID, employment has been one of those things that is a constant of getting applications. But I will say what I love so much about Little Caesars is it's such a great stepping stone of a family-ran business that we want to make sure that we're helping youngsters into their first jobs, for them to learn being on time, and we're not doing heart surgery, we're making pizza, so it's something that can be fun, that they can learn that stepping stone for the next step. Also veterans, maybe there's veterans out there that, want to get back in and maybe fill some of their day doing some jobs inside of our locations. So it's flexible hours. a very family feel to our restaurants. And again, you get to be a part of these community impact projects where you get to feel like you're having an impact just because you're there.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So I'm sure it's really easy to find and apply online to Little Caesars. And Sabrina, it's been so much fun talking with you, and I loved hearing about the community impact that you guys have here in the local community. Is there anything else that you want to make sure our viewers and listeners know about either VDM management or about Little Caesars in general?
I really think that the important thing is being involved in like chamber events and being involved in your community. And Cincinnati is such an amazing area. So you have a bigger city than from where I'm from, but it has small town values. It's investing in each other, it's getting those connections, it's helping each other survive. And I think that it's a lovely way to get the word out to let people know that we're here and we want to be a part of this and that we're so thankful to be here.
Yeah. Well, Sabrina, thank you so much for your time. It was absolutely a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to our Investors Circle members. Our Investors Circle members help us promote and support the development of strong businesses and a vibrant economy in the Northern Kentucky region. Thank you to all of these members for their investment, which will help the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce in our mission to develop and grow a thriving business community. Northern Kentucky needs tailored solutions to address our housing shortage. Home for All, Northern Kentucky Housing Strategies, explores how we can retain young adults, help older residents downsize or age in place, and ensure new neighbors have housing options that fit their lives. Dive into the report at housingNKY.org. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode of the podcast. As a reminder, the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast is powered by CKREU, Google and Amazon advertising experts. I want to highlight a couple of upcoming Business Council events happening here in August. The Erlanger Business Council is hosting business resource roundtables focused on leveraging grants and partnerships to grow your business on Tuesday, August 11th. The Fort Thomas Business Council is hosting a business social at Grassroots and Vine on Thursday, August 27th. And the Newport Business Council is partnering with the Women's Initiative for a Connect Hour on Monday, August 31st at Newport Car Barn. You can learn about each of these events and get your tickets now at nkychamber.com/events. Finally, if you are a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're someone who is interested in joining the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. You can find her contact information on the screen in front of you if you are a viewer, and our listeners can find that at nkychamber.com/staff. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys next week.